You've got to be kidding me. Dante Williams stares at the business card in his trembling hands. 24 hours ago, he had $47. Now, everything's about to change. Route 34. Blizzard. His car's dying. Gas tank. Empty. He's already 3 hours late. Then he sees it. Mercedes. Hazards flashing. Rich guy in an expensive coat, shivering like he's about to die. Dante's brain. Keep driving, you can't afford this. His heart. Someone's father is freezing out there. He pulls over. Need help? The stranger looks up. Relief floods his eyes. Thank God, I thought I was going to die out here. Get in. We need to move. Now. What Dante doesn't know? This stranger is about to make him an offer that will either save his life or destroy everything he's worked for. The clock is ticking. The storm is getting worse. And this decision will change everything. But before we get to that life-changing moment, you need to understand who Dante Williams really is. Because what happens next will only make sense when you see how far he's fallen. And how much he's still fighting. 6 o'clock a.m. Dante's alarm screams. His studio apartment is freezing. The heat barely works, but the landlord doesn't care. Neither does the stack of overdue bills glaring at him from the kitchen counter. Red notice. Final notice. Disconnect warning. Dante splashes cold water on his face and stares at himself in the cracked bathroom mirror. I am 34 years old. 2 jobs. Still broke. Come on, man. One more day. He grabs his worn AutoZone uniform and heads out to his 2010 Honda Civic. 180,000 miles. Duct tape holding the passenger mirror. But it runs. That's all that matters. First stop, AutoZone. Morning shift. Morning, Dante, calls Maria, the store manager. She's one of the good ones. Treats him like family, not just another employee. Morning, Maria, ready to help some folks fix their rides. And he means it. Dante loves cars. Always has. When a customer walks in confused and frustrated, Dante becomes a different person. Patient, knowledgeable, kind, like today. This woman walks in, clearly stressed. My car's making this horrible grinding sound. The mechanic wants $1,200. I don't have $1,200. Dante listens, really listens. Then he walks her to the brake pad section. Here. These pads, this rotor cleaner, $68 total. Do you know anyone who's handy with tools? Her face lights up. My brother. Perfect. Show him this YouTube video. Dante pulls out his cracked phone, finds a tutorial. Save you $1,000 easily. She almost cries with relief. How do I thank you? Just pay it forward. After she leaves, Dante watches through the window as she drives away in her Honda Accord. Nice car. Reliable. The kind of car he wishes he could afford. But that's not what gets to him. It's watching her drive to her real life, her career, her future. While he's stuck here, helping other people solve their problems, unable to solve his own. Break time. Dante sits in his car and pulls out a folded piece of paper from his wallet. His business plan. Williams Auto Repair. He's had this dream for 5 years. I researched everything. Equipment costs, location analysis, customer demographics. He knows exactly what he needs. $150,000 for equipment, lease deposit, and operating capital for the first year. He also knows exactly what he has. $47 in his checking account. 3 banks have already said no. Insufficient credit history. No collateral. High-risk investment. Translation. You're not the kind of person we bet on. Dante folds the plan back up. Sometimes dreams feel like torture. His phone buzzes. Text from his mother. The doctor wants to run more tests. Insurance only covers part. Don't worry about me, baby. Focus on yourself. Don't worry about her? She raised him alone after his father died. Worked 2 jobs to keep him in school. Never complained. Never gave up on him. Now she needs help, and he can't provide it. Dante closes his eyes. The weight of it all feels crushing sometimes, but giving up isn't an option. It never has been. Back to work. Evening shift. Cleaning offices downtown. Dante puts on his gray uniform and drives to the financial district. Glass towers reaching toward the sky. Inside these buildings, people make more in a day than he makes in a month. He cleans their desks, empty their trash, vacuums their floors. And sometimes, when he's alone, he imagines what it would be like to belong here, to wear a suit, to matter. Tonight, he's cleaning the 48th floor of the Henderson Global building, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the entire city, corner offices bigger than his apartment. On one desk, he sees a business magazine. Cover story: the new titans of industry. Young entrepreneurs who built empires from nothing. Must be nice, he mutters. But here's what people don't understand about Dante. He's not bitter. He's not angry at successful people. He genuinely believes hard work should pay off. He believes in treating people right, even when life doesn't treat you right. Like last month when his co-worker Miguel got sick and couldn't work. Dante covered his shifts for free, didn't think twice about it. "Why'd you do that?" Maria asked. "You need the money too." "Because that's what you do. You help people." That's who Dante is. Even when he's drowning, he'll throw you a life jacket. 10:30 p.m. Finally done. Dante locks up and walks to his car. The city sparkles around him, full of opportunity and success that feels just out of reach. He sits in his car for a moment, exhausted. Tomorrow he'll do it all again. Wake up, work, help others, go to bed broke. But tonight, something feels different. Maybe it's the approaching storm clouds. Maybe it's the way the wind is picking up. Or maybe it's just that nagging feeling that his life is about to change. He starts the engine and pulls onto Route 34, heading home through the darkness. Little does he know, he's driving straight into the moment that will define the rest of his life. The first snowflakes hit Dante's windshield at 9:15 p.m. By 9:30, it's a full blizzard. "Are you kidding me right now?" The weather app on his phone had said light snow. This isn't light snow. This is the kind of storm that kills people. Dante's wipers struggle against the thick flakes. His headlights barely cut through the white wall ahead. Other cars are pulling off the highway, hazard lights blinking as they give up and wait it out. But Dante can't stop. He's already 3 hours late for his cleaning shift. Maria covered for him at AutoZone when he had to stay late with a customer. Now his evening supervisor, Janet, is probably pacing around the office building, checking her watch. "This is your 3rd time being late this month, Williams." Her voice echoes in his head. One more strike and he's done. No more evening job. No more rent money. No more helping his mother with medical bills. His Honda fights through the storm, engine straining. The heat barely works, and his breath is starting to fog the windows. Worse, his fuel gauge has dropped to nearly empty. "Come on, baby. Just get me there." Route 34 is practically deserted now. Smart people are home, warm and safe. Only desperate people like Dante are still out here. That's when he sees it. Hazard lights, blinking through the snow like an SOS signal. As he gets closer, the shape becomes clear. Expensive sedan. Silver Mercedes, maybe 10 years old, but still worth more than Dante makes in 2 years. The hood is up, steam rising into the freezing air, and beside it, a figure in a long overcoat. Dante slows down, squinting through his windshield. The person is elderly, maybe 60-something, no hat, no gloves. Oh, just standing there in the storm, looking completely lost. Every practical part of Dante's brain starts calculating. His gas tank, nearly empty. His time, already 3 hours late. His job, hanging by a thread. The temperature, dropping fast. He should keep driving. He should get to work. He should save himself. But then the figure turns toward his headlights, and Dante sees something that stops him cold. Pure desperation. This isn't just someone having car trouble. This is someone who might not survive the night. Dante's hands tighten on the steering wheel. His mother's voice echoes in his head. "Baby, we don't leave people behind, ever. That's not who we are." Damn it. He pulls over, hazards on. The moment he steps out of his car, the cold hits him like a punch. Wind cuts through his thin jacket, snow stings his face. This storm isn't just bad, it's dangerous. "Hey!" he calls out, jogging toward the Mercedes. "You okay?" The stranger looks up, and Dante gets his first clear look at him. White man, probably late 60s. Well-dressed in an expensive wool coat that's soaked through. His face is pale, lips starting to turn blue. But it's his eyes that get Dante. Intelligent eyes. Scared eyes. The eyes of someone who's used to being in control but has lost it completely. "Thank God," the man says, his voice shaking from the cold. I didn't think anyone would stop." "What's wrong with your car?" "I don't know. The engine started overheating, then it just died. My phone's dead too. I was driving back from a meeting in Albany when this storm hit." Dante pops the hood and immediately sees the problem. Coolant everywhere. The radiator hose burst, probably from the cold. The battery terminals are corroded, and there's steam still rising from the engine block. "Your cooling system's shot," Dante explains, "and your battery's dead. In this weather, you're not going anywhere tonight." The man's face falls. "How far is the nearest town?" "About 20 miles, but the roads are getting worse. Most places will be closed anyway." Dante can see the panic starting to set in. This guy is clearly out of his element. Probably never had to deal with a car breaking down in the middle of nowhere. "Look," Dante says, making a decision that might cost him everything. "I can drive you to Millerville. There's a diner there that stays open late. You can call for help." "You'd do that?" "But your car has just enough gas to get us there. Maybe." The stranger looks at Dante like he's seeing an angel. I can pay you. For the gas, for your time. We'll worry about that later. Right now, we need to move before this gets worse." They hurry to Dante's Honda. The stranger, who introduces himself as Robert, slides into the passenger seat, immediately grateful for even the car's weak heat. "I'm Dante, by the way." "Robert. And I can't thank you enough for this." As they pull back onto Route 34, Dante's mind races. His supervisor is going to be furious. He might lose his job tonight. His gas tank is running on fumes, and he's got a stranger in his car in the middle of a blizzard. But looking at Robert, this man who was literally freezing to death on the side of the road, Dante knows he made the right choice. What he doesn't know is that this decision will change everything. Because Robert isn't just any stranger. And the business card in his coat pocket is about to turn Dante's world upside down. "Hold on tight. This is going to get rough." Dante grips the steering wheel as his Honda crawls through the storm. Visibility is maybe 10 feet. The wipers can barely keep up. Every few seconds, the car slides slightly on the increasingly icy road. "How do you know these roads so well?" Robert asks, his voice steadier now that he's warming up. "Grew up here. I drove this route 1,000 times." But even Dante's local knowledge is being tested tonight. The storm is worse than anything he's seen in years. Tree branches are starting to come down. Power lines sway dangerously overhead. "There," Dante points through the windshield. "See that light? That's Murphy's Diner. They'll be open." It takes 20 more minutes to cover what should be a 10-minute drive. When they finally pull into the diner's parking lot, both men exhale in relief. "We made it," Robert says, almost disbelieving. "Yeah, we did. They hurry inside, shaking snow off their coats. The diner is nearly empty. Just a waitress, a cook, and one trucker nursing coffee at the counter. "You boys okay?" asks the waitress, a woman in her 50s with kind eyes. "Terrible night to be on the roads." "The car broke down," Robert explains. "This gentleman gave me a ride." "Well, you picked a good Samaritan. Coffee?" They slide into a booth, and the waitress brings 2 steaming cups. Robert wraps his hands around his, still trying to warm up. "I need to call my driver," he says. "Do you have a phone I could use?" The waitress points to an old payphone by the restrooms. "Local calls only, hun." Robert nods and heads over. Dante watches him dial, speaking in low, urgent tones. Professional tone. Authoritative. This isn't a man used to being helpless. When Robert returns, he looks relieved. "My driver's coming. About an hour, maybe more with the roads like this." "Good. That gives us time to warm up." The waitress brings menus, but Dante waves him off. "Just coffee for me." Robert frowns. "Please let me buy you dinner. It's the least I can do." Dante's stomach rumbles. He hasn't eaten since his lunch break at AutoZone, a gas station sandwich he couldn't really afford. But accepting charity feels wrong. "You don't need to." "I insist. You saved my life tonight. I was seriously hypothermic out there." The waitress smiles. "How about our pot roast special? It's good on a night like this." Dante looks at Robert, who nods encouragingly. "Okay, thank you." While they wait for the food, they talk. Robert asks about Dante's work, and Dante finds himself opening up more than usual. "Auto parts during the day, cleaning offices at night, trying to save up to start my own repair shop." "That's ambitious. What's your business plan?" Dante is surprised by the question. Most people hear auto repair, and their eyes glaze over, but Robert seems genuinely interested. "Full-service shop. Not just repairs, but maintenance, inspections, maybe some restoration work. There's a good spot on Elm Street, but the startup costs..." He shakes his head. "Banks aren't exactly lining up to invest in guys like me." Robert nods thoughtfully. "What kind of startup capital would you need?" "About $150,000. Equipment, lease deposit, operating expenses for the first year." Dante laughs bitterly. "Might as well be $1 million. "Why auto repair? You could probably make more money in other fields with your knowledge." Dante considers the question. "I love fixing things. Making something broken work again. And in a place like this, people need reliable, honest service. A lot of shops overcharge, do unnecessary work. I want to be the guy people trust." Robert's eyes light up. "Integrity in business. That's rarer than you'd think." The food arrives, and they eat in comfortable silence for a while. The pot roast is excellent, and Dante realizes how hungry he was. "Can I ask you something?" Dante says eventually. "Sure. What kind of meeting were you coming back from? In Albany?" Robert pauses, fork halfway to his mouth. "Business meeting. Investment opportunity that didn't pan out." He doesn't elaborate, and Dante doesn't push. But he notices Robert's watch expensive-looking, with multiple time zones, and his coat, now that it's dried off, is clearly high-end, custom-tailored. This isn't just any businessman. "I should call my supervisor," Dante says, pulling out his phone. "Explain why I'm not at work." The call goes about as well as expected. "Third time this month, Dante. I'm sorry, but..." "I know. I understand." He hangs up and stares at the phone. "Bad news?" Robert asks gently. "Lost my evening job. But honestly, worth it. Couldn't leave you out there." Robert studies Dante's face. There's something in his expression. Surprise, maybe respect. "You just sacrificed your job for a stranger. Anyone would have done the same thing?" "No," Robert says quietly. "They wouldn't have." Outside, headlights cut through the snow. A black town car pulls up, windshield wipers working overtime. That's my ride, Robert says. He reaches for his wallet. Let me at least... The meal was enough. Thank you. Robert insists on leaving a generous tip for the waitress. As they're putting their coats back on, he pulls out a business card. If you're ever in the city, look me up. I mean it. Dante glances at the card briefly, Henderson Global Investments, and pockets it without really reading. Thanks, Robert. Take care of yourself. They shake hands. Robert's grip is firm, confident, the grip of someone important. Dante, Robert says seriously, what you did tonight, not many people would have stopped. Thank you. Just glad you're okay. Robert heads toward the town car, where a uniformed driver is waiting with an umbrella. Professional service. Money. As the town car disappears into the storm, Dante sits back down to finish his coffee. The waitress refills his cup. You did good tonight, hun. That man could have died out there. Just did what felt right. But as Dante drives home through the lessening storm, he can't shake the feeling that there was more to Robert Henderson than met the eye. The expensive watch. The chauffeur. The way he asked about business plans like he actually understood them. Henderson Global Investments. The name sounds familiar, but Dante's too exhausted to think about it. He's lost one job tonight, but gained something else. The knowledge that when tested, he chose to help rather than save himself. That has to count for something. What Dante doesn't know is that Robert Henderson spent the entire ride back to the city making phone calls. About him. About his character. About what happens when someone proves they have integrity in a world that often rewards selfishness. Tomorrow, everything changes. The storm is finally letting up when Dante pulls into his apartment complex at 1:30 a.m. His gas gauge reads completely empty. The needle doesn't just point to E, it's below it. He coasted the last 2 miles on fumes and prayers. Made it, he whispers to himself. But barely. Dante sits in his car for a moment, engine ticking as it cools down. The reality of tonight starts hitting him. He's lost his evening job, used his last $20 on gas to get home, and tomorrow he still has to wake up at 6 a.m. for AutoZone. His phone buzzes. Text message from his supervisor, Janet. Your final paycheck will be ready Friday. Sorry it had to end this way. No severance, no second chance. Just done. Dante stares at the message, then deletes it. What's done is done. He climbs the stairs to his second-floor apartment. The hallway light is burned out again, and the landlord won't fix it until someone complains enough times. Dante fumbles for his keys in the dark. Inside, the apartment feels even colder than outside. The heat barely works on good days. Tonight, with the storm, it's not working at all. Dante checks his bank account on his phone. $27 remaining. Rent is due in 12 days. He opens his refrigerator. Half a gallon of milk. Some lunch meat that's probably expired. 3 eggs. A can of soup. Breakfast of champions, he mutters, opening the soup. While it heats on the stove, Dante empties his pockets onto the kitchen counter. Wallet, keys, phone charger, and a business card. Henderson Global Investments. He picks it up, reading it properly for the first time. The cardstock is thick, expensive, embossed lettering, professional design. Robert Henderson, senior partner. The address is downtown, financial district, the kind of building Dante cleans but never really belongs in. Henderson Global. Why does that name sound familiar? Dante's too tired to think about it. He eats his soup standing up at the counter, then falls into bed fully clothed. But sleep doesn't come easy. Every time he closes his eyes, he sees Robert's face. The relief when Dante stopped. The genuine gratitude over dinner. The way he asked about the business plan like he actually cared. And that handshake. Firm. Confidence. The grip of someone important. 6 a.m. comes too soon. Dante drags himself out of bed, showers with lukewarm water, and puts on his AutoZone uniform. The same routine as always, except now he only has one job instead of two. On the drive to work, he passes Robert's abandoned Mercedes. It's still there, covered in snow. A tow truck is hooking it up, probably taking it to the local garage. "Hope he's okay," Dante says aloud. At AutoZone, Maria notices something's off immediately. "You look exhausted. Is everything all right?" Dante considers telling her about last night but decides against it. "Just tired. Long night." "Well, take it easy today. Tuesdays are usually slow anyway." But Tuesday isn't slow. It's busy. Really busy. A parade of customers with storm-related car problems, dead batteries, burst radiator hoses, frozen door locks. Dante helps them all, his expertise and patience on full display. Around noon, during his lunch break, Dante's phone rings. Unknown number. "Hello? Is this Dante Williams?" "Yeah, who's this?" "This is Patricia from Henderson Global Investments. Mr. Henderson asked me to call you." Dante's heart skips a beat. "Mr. Henderson?" "Yes, sir. He'd like to schedule a meeting with you. Are you available this afternoon at 4 p.m.? Dante looks around the AutoZone break room. Fluorescent lights, vending machines, the smell of motor oil and cleaning supplies. "A meeting? About what?" "He didn't specify, sir. Just said it was important. Our office is at 450 Fifth Avenue, 48th floor. 48th floor. The same floor Dante was supposed to clean last night before the storm hit. I'm working until 5. Would 4:30 work better?" Dante's mind races. This is real. Robert Henderson, the man he rescued, wants to meet with him at Henderson Global Investments. "Actually," Patricia continues, "Mr. Henderson mentioned you might need to leave work early. He's already spoken with your manager." "He what?" "Maria Santos, right? He called this morning, explained the situation. She said it would be fine." Dante feels dizzy. How does Robert know where he works? How does he know Maria's name? "Mr. Williams? Are you still there?" Yeah, I'm here." "So is 4:30 acceptable?" Dante thinks about his $27 bank balance, his missing second job, the stack of bills on his kitchen counter. And then he thinks about Robert's eyes last night. Intelligent, kind, grateful. "Okay, I'll be there." "Excellent. Ask for Patricia when you arrive." "And Mr. Williams?" "Yeah?" "Dress nicely. This is an important meeting." The line goes dead. Dante stares at his phone, trying to process what just happened. Henderson Global wants to see him. Today, in 4 hours. He pulls out the business card again, reading it more carefully this time. The company logo, the downtown address. And suddenly, it clicks. Henderson Global Investments. He's seen that name in the news. Financial magazines, business reports. One of the biggest investment firms in the country. "Oh my God," he whispers. What has he gotten himself into? Dante spends his lunch break Googling Henderson Global Investments on his cracked phone screen. The search results make his stomach drop. Henderson Global manages $12 billion in assets. Investment firm posts record profits for 5th consecutive year. CEO Robert Henderson named to Forbes Power List. CEO Robert Henderson. Dante clicks on the Forbes article, but the image is taking forever to load on his slow connection. All he can see is the headline, "The billionaire who started with nothing." "No way," he whispers. "No freaking way." A customer approaches the counter, and Dante quickly puts his phone away. But his mind is racing. Robert Henderson? The guy he rescued last night is one of the richest men in America? At 2 p.m., Maria calls him aside. "So, you know some important people apparently." "What do you mean?" "Got a call this morning from some fancy investment firm. Said you had an emergency meeting today. Very polite, very professional." She studies his face. You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. I'm fine, just processing some things. Well, whoever this Robert Henderson is, he speaks very highly of you. Said you showed exceptional character in a difficult situation. There's that phrase again. Exceptional character. Maria, can I ask you something? Henderson Global Investments. Ever heard of them? Honey, they own half the buildings in this city. Big money, serious business. She pauses. Why? You're not in some kind of trouble, are you? No, at least I don't think so. At 3:30, Dante leaves AutoZone and drives home to change clothes. He only owns one decent shirt-white button-down he bought at Goodwill for job interviews. Black slacks that are slightly too short. A tie borrowed from his coworker last year that he never returned. In the mirror, he looks okay. Not great, but respectable. The drive downtown takes 30 minutes. Dante parks in a public garage, wincing at the $15 fee. That's half his remaining money, but he can't show up to Henderson Global on a city bus. 450 Fifth Avenue towers above him, glass and steel reaching toward the clouds. The kind of building that makes you feel small just looking at it. In the lobby, everything is marble and brass, security guards in suits, executives hurrying past with briefcases and confident strides. Dante approaches the reception desk, feeling completely out of place. I'm here to see Patricia, from Henderson Global. The receptionist, a woman in her 30s with perfect makeup, looks him up and down. Her expression is polite but questioning. Name? Dante Williams. She makes a call, speaks quietly, then hands him a visitor badge. 48th floor, Express Elevator Bank. The elevator ride feels like forever. Dante watches the numbers climb. 20, 30, 40, 48. When the doors open, he steps into another world. Floor-to-ceiling windows, city views that stretch for miles, expensive artwork on the walls, the smell of success. And somewhere in this building, Robert Henderson is waiting for him. But what Dante doesn't know is that this meeting will test everything he believes about himself, his worth, and whether dreams really do come true. The question is he ready for what's about to happen next? Mr. Williams? I'm Patricia. A woman in her 40s, impeccably dressed, extends her hand. Behind her, the Henderson Global office buzzes with quiet efficiency. Analysts at computers, phone conversations about millions of dollars, the hum of serious money. Thank you for coming on such short notice. No problem. Though I have to ask, what's this about? Patricia's smile is professional but warm. Mr. Henderson will explain everything. He's just finishing up a conference call with Tokyo. Can I get you coffee? Water? I'm good, thanks. She leads him through the office. Dante catches glimpses of financial reports, stock tickers, charts showing profit margins that make his head spin. This isn't just wealth. This is power. They stop at a corner office with floor-to-ceiling windows. Through the glass, Dante can see a figure on the phone, back turned. Expensive suit, confident posture. He'll just be another minute, Patricia says, then leaves. Dante waits in the hallway, trying not to stare at everything around him. The art on the walls probably costs more than he makes in a year. The carpet under his feet is thicker than his mattress. Dante! He turns, and there's Robert Henderson, walking toward him with a huge smile. The same man from last night, but transformed. Gone is the helpless stranger in a soaked overcoat. This is Robert Henderson, CEO, billionaire, one of the most powerful men in America. I can't tell you how good it is to see you again. They shake hands, and Robert's grip is just as firm as last night. But now Dante understands what that confidence represents. Mr. Henderson, Please, call me Robert. After last night, I think we're past formalities. He gestures toward his office. Come in. We have a lot to talk about. The office is stunning. Panoramic views of the city, a conference table that could seat 20 people. On the walls, photos of Robert with presidents, celebrities, business leaders, and on his desk, yesterday's newspaper with the headline, Henderson Global announces $2 billion community investment initiative. "Have a seat," Robert says, settling into his chair. "First, I want to thank you again for last night. I've been thinking about it ever since I got home." "You don't need to thank me. Anyone would have—" "No." Robert's voice is firm. "Anyone wouldn't have. Do you know how many cars passed me before you stopped?" Dante shakes his head. 17. I counted them. 17 people saw a man in trouble and kept driving. But not you. Robert leans forward, his expression serious. "Dante, I've spent 30 years in business. I've met thousands of people. Politicians, CEOs, celebrities. People who talk about integrity, about character, about doing the right thing." He pauses. "But last night, when it mattered, when there was no audience, no cameras, no reward, you proved who you really are." Dante feels uncomfortable with the praise. "I just did what felt right." "Exactly. And that's rarer than you know." Robert picks up a folder from his desk. "Which brings me to why you're here. I have to admit, I'm pretty confused about all this." Robert smiles. "I spent the morning learning about you, Dante. I hope you don't mind, but I had my people do some research." Dante's heart skips. "Research?" "Nothing invasive. Just public records, credit reports, employment history." Robert opens the folder. "Dante Williams. I am 34 years old. Graduated high school with honors. 2 years of engineering school before financial hardship forced you to drop out. No criminal record. Excellent work references from every job you've held." "Why would you need to know all that?" "Because," Robert says, his eyes lighting up, "Henderson Global is launching a new initiative. We're investing $2 billion in community development projects across the country. Small businesses, local entrepreneurs, people with great ideas but limited access to capital." Dante nods slowly, not sure where this is going. "The program is specifically designed to find overlooked talent, people with character, integrity, and vision who've been ignored by traditional investors." Robert closes the folder. "People exactly like you." "Mr. Henderson, Robert, I appreciate the thought, but I'm not sure what you're getting at." Robert stands up and walks to the window. "Tell me about your business plan." "My what?" "Your auto repair shop. You mentioned it last night." Dante shifts in his chair. "It's just a dream. I don't have the capital, the connections, the—" "What? The right skin color? The right background? The right zip code?" The words hang in the air. Robert turns back to face him. "Dante, I grew up in poverty in Detroit. Single mother, food stamps, public housing. The only difference between us is that I got one break. One person who believed in me when everyone else saw risk." He walks back to his desk and pulls out another folder. This one is thicker. "This is your business plan. The one you've been carrying in your wallet for 5 years." Dante's blood runs cold. "How do you—" "You took it out at the diner last night, when you thought I wasn't looking. It's folded and refolded so many times it's falling apart." Robert sits down. "I had my team research the location you mentioned, Elm Street. We ran the numbers, population demographics, competition analysis, traffic patterns." He slides the folder across the desk. "Your plan is solid, Dante. More than solid. It's brilliant. You've identified an underserved market, calculated realistic startup costs, and projected conservative but sustainable growth." Dante stares at the folder, afraid to open it. "The only thing missing," Robert continues, "is someone willing to bet on you." He reaches into his desk drawer and pulls out a checkbook. "Henderson Global Investments would like to offer you a partnership. We provide $150,000 in startup capital. You retain 60% ownership. We take 40% and provide ongoing business mentorship. Dante's world tilts on its axis. You're offering me what? I'm offering you your dream, Dante. The question is, Robert clicks his pen. Are you ready to stop being the guy who helps everyone else fix their problems and start being the guy who builds something lasting? The check is already written. All it needs is Dante's signature. But what Robert is really offering will test everything Dante believes about himself, his worth, and whether he truly deserves success. The biggest moment of his life is sitting on the desk in front of him. What happens next will change everything. Dante stares at the check. His name is already printed on it. The amount? $150,000. More money than he's ever seen in his life. I don't understand, he says, his voice barely a whisper. Why me? Robert settles back in his chair. Because character is the only true predictor of success, and last night you proved yours beyond any doubt. But I'm nobody. I work at AutoZone. I clean offices. You saved my life. Robert's voice is quiet but firm. Do you know what happened to me when I was your age? Dante shakes his head. I was working 3 jobs in Detroit. Mechanic during the day, security guard at night, weekend shifts at a warehouse, barely making rent on a studio apartment with no heat. Robert's eyes get distant. One winter night, I helped an old man whose car broke down in a snowstorm. Dante's heart stops. Different storm, different highways, same situation. That old man turned out to be Henry Morrison, founder of Morrison Industries. 3 days later, he offered me a job in his accounting department. Entry level, but with opportunities to learn. Robert stands and walks to his window, looking out at the city below. Henry taught me everything. Finance, investment strategy, how to read people, how to build businesses. He turns back to Dante. When he died, he left me $50,000 and a letter. It said, "Character compounds faster than interest. Find someone like yourself and give them the chance I gave you." So this is paying it forward? This is recognizing potential when I see it. Robert sits back down. Dante, you have something most people lack. Integrity, work ethic, the ability to see solutions instead of just problems. Robert opens another folder. Here's what we're proposing. Henderson Global provides $150,000 in startup capital. We also provide a location. We own a building on Elm Street, perfect for an auto repair shop, below market rent for the first 2 years. Dante's hands are shaking. The building on Elm Street? The one I've been looking at? We bought it yesterday. Robert grins. Sometimes opportunity requires preparation. But what if I fail? What if I can't make it work? Then we'll have learned something together. But I don't think you'll fail. Robert leans forward. Want to know why? Because you've already proven you'll do the right thing even when it costs you everything. That's the foundation of every successful business. Robert slides a contract across the desk. Here are the specific terms. Henderson Global invests $150,000. You retain 60% ownership controlling interest. We take 40%. In exchange, we provide mentorship, business connections, and access to commercial accounts through our network. Dante skims the contract, trying to process the legal language. What kind of commercial accounts? Fleet maintenance for our property management companies. Service contracts with our corporate partners. We manage facilities across 3 states. That's thousands of vehicles that need regular maintenance. You're guaranteeing customers? I'm guaranteeing opportunities. What you do with them is up to you. Robert pauses. There is one requirement. Dante tenses. What? You have to hire locally. At least 3 full-time employees within the first year. People from the community. Give them the same chance someone's giving you. That's not a requirement. That's what I want to do anyway. Robert smiles. I know. That's why this is going to work. Dante reads through more of the contract: professional development funds, equipment financing, a mentorship program with other Henderson Global portfolio companies. "This is real," he says, more to himself than to Robert. "It's real. The question is, are you ready?" Dante thinks about his mother's medical bills, his $27 bank balance, the stack of overdue notices on his kitchen counter. 5 years of carrying a folded business plan in his wallet, dreaming of a moment like this. What if I'm not good enough? What if I don't know how to run a business? Then we'll teach you. That's what mentorship means. Robert's expression is serious. But Dante, I've been doing this for 30 years. I know potential when I see it. You have the technical skills, the work ethic, and most importantly, the character to succeed. I need to think about this. Of course. Take the contract home. Have a lawyer review it if you want. But I need an answer by tomorrow. Tomorrow? The Elm Street property is in high demand. If you don't want it, I have 2 other entrepreneurs interested in different concepts. Dante feels a surge of panic. This opportunity could disappear as quickly as it appeared. Can I ask you something? Anything. Why not just give me the money? Why take 40%? Robert's laugh is genuine. Because charity doesn't build character, and you don't need charity. You need a partnership, someone invested in your success with skin in the game. He stands up and walks Dante to the door. Also, because 40% of a successful business is worth more than 100% of a handout. This way, we both win. In the elevator down, Dante clutches the contract like a lifeline. His reflection in the polished steel looks different somehow. Still the same face, but with something new in his eyes. Hope. Real hope. By the time he reaches his car, Dante's mind is racing with possibilities. Equipment lists, employee training programs, marketing strategies. For the first time in years, he's not just surviving day to day, he's planning for a future. But as he drives home through the city traffic, one thought keeps echoing in his head. This is too good to be true. Things like this don't happen to people like me, or do they? Tomorrow, he has to make the biggest decision of his life. Sign the contract and step into a world of opportunity and risk, or play it safe and wonder what if for the rest of his days. What Dante doesn't know is that his decision will impact more lives than just his own. Because sometimes, when you change one person's trajectory, you change everything. The question is, does he have the courage to believe he deserves this chance? 6 months later. Dante's auto repair gleams in fresh blue and silver letters across the front of the Elm Street building. The same building Dante used to drive past every day, dreaming. Now it's his. The grand opening is packed. Cars line both sides of the street. Customers, neighbors, local business owners, all here to celebrate something that seemed impossible just months ago. "I can't believe this is real," Dante says to Robert, who's cutting the ribbon alongside him. "Believe it," Robert grins. "You earned every bit of this." The local news crew interviews Dante in front of his shop. Same man, completely different energy. "6 months ago, I was working 2 jobs just to pay rent," he tells the reporter. "Today, I'm employing 5 people from this neighborhood and servicing over 200 regular customers." Inside the shop, state-of-the-art equipment fills the service bays. Hydraulic lifts, computerized diagnostic systems, tools Dante could only dream of owning before. But the real transformation isn't the equipment. It's the people. "Miguel, how's that brake job coming?" Dante calls out. Miguel Torres, 28, was unemployed for 8 months before Dante hired him. "Almost done, boss. The customer said these are the smoothest brakes she's ever had." That's what we do here. Excellence, not just repairs. In the corner office, Janet Rivers manages the books. The same Janet who used to supervise Dante's cleaning crew and had to fire him that snowy night. Now she's his office manager, grateful for a second chance at steady work. Monthly numbers are in, she tells Dante. We're 25% ahead of projections. Seriously? Dead serious. The fleet contracts Robert connected us with are game changers. Plus, word of mouth is bringing in new customers every day. Through the window, Dante watches his newest employee, 19-year-old Ashley Lane, explaining a repair estimate to a customer. Ashley was a community college dropout before Dante hired her as an apprentice. Now she's studying for her ASE certification while working full-time. Mrs. Patterson, your transmission needs a flush, but it's not urgent, Ashley explains patiently. We can schedule it for next week, and I'll give you a coupon for 20% off. Honest service, fair prices, treating customers like family. The formula works. By month 3, Dante's Auto Repair had a 2-week waiting list for service appointments. By month 5, they'd expanded operating hours. By month 6, they were considering a second location. But the real impact goes beyond the business. Elm Street, once struggling with vacant storefronts and broken dreams, is transforming. Rosa's Cafe opened next door, serving lunch to Dante's customers and employees. Tommy's barbershop moved in across the street, drawing foot traffic from the auto shop's success. Property values are rising. Crime is down. The neighborhood has something it hasn't had in years. Hope. You see that? Robert points out the window during one of their monthly mentorship meetings. That's the ripple effect of one good decision. Dante shakes his head in amazement. I just wanted to fix cars. You did more than that. You fixed a community. The numbers tell the story. 37 jobs created directly and indirectly, $800,000 in local economic activity, 15% reduction in neighborhood unemployment, 3 new businesses opened on Elm Street, 12 young people enrolled in automotive training programs. But beyond the statistics are the personal victories. Miguel bought his first house. Janet paid off her credit card debt. Ashley earned her certification and got accepted to a 4-year engineering program with tuition assistance from Henderson Global's education fund. Boss, Miguel calls out one afternoon. You got a minute? What's up? My nephew Carlos just graduated high school. The kid's smart, good with his hands. Think we might have room for another apprentice? Dante smiles. Bring him by tomorrow. Let's see what he's got. The cycle continues. One opportunity creates another. Success breeds success. At the local community center, Dante teaches free automotive basics classes every Saturday morning. 25 people show up regularly. Teenagers, single mothers, retirees who want to understand their cars better. Remember, he tells the class, maintenance prevents problems. Just like in life, taking care of the small things prevents big disasters. After class, a young woman approaches him. Mr. Williams, I'm starting a catering business. My car keeps breaking down and I can't afford expensive repairs. Bring it to the shop Monday morning. We'll figure something out. Because that's what you do. You help people. Just like someone once helped you. The local newspaper runs a feature story. From Snowstorm rescue to community renaissance, how one act of kindness changed everything. The article quotes Robert Henderson. Dante Williams represents everything right about American entrepreneurship, character, determination, and a commitment to lifting others as you climb. But the quote that matters most comes from Dante's mother, interviewed at her son's shop. I always knew my boy had a good heart. Now the whole world can see it. Standing in his shop at closing time, Dante looks around at what they've built. The gleaming equipment, the satisfied customers, the employees who've become family. But most importantly, he sees proof that dreams do come true if you're willing to help someone else's dream come true first. Tomorrow brings new challenges, new opportunities, new chances to pay it forward. The cycle never ends, and that's exactly how it should be. 1 year later, same stretch of Route 34, another snowstorm. Dante drives his new pickup truck, nothing fancy, but reliable, heading home from a business meeting with potential investors for his second location. Through the swirling snow, he sees familiar hazard lights blinking. Deja vu hits him like a punch. A car on the shoulder, steam rising from the hood, and beside it, a figure hunched against the storm. Dante doesn't hesitate. He pulls over immediately. The stranded driver is a young Latina woman, maybe 25, with a crying toddler in her arms. Her ancient Honda Civic has clearly given up the fight. "Are you okay?" Dante calls out, jogging toward them.
"My car just died," she says, tears mixing with snowflakes on her cheeks. "My baby's cold and I don't have anyone to call." "Come on, get in my truck. We'll figure this out."
As they warm up in his heated cab, the woman Maria Santos explains her situation. Single mother. "I am studying to be a dental hygienist, working 2 part-time jobs to pay for school and daycare." The story sounds painfully familiar. "Where were you heading?" Dante asks.
"Home from my evening job, cleaning offices downtown."
She laughs bitterly.
"Probably gonna lose it now. 3rd time being late this month."
Dante's heart clenches. He knows exactly how that feels. "What's your car trouble usually?"
"Everything. It's 15 years old. I keep putting Band-Aids on it, but..."
She shrugs helplessly. Dante makes a decision. "Maria, I own an auto repair shop on Elm Street. Bring your car on Monday morning. We'll get it running properly."
"I can't afford..."
"We'll work something out. Maybe you can help with our bookkeeping. Janet's been saying we need part-time office help." Maria stares at him like he's speaking a foreign language.
"Why would you help me? You don't even know me."
Dante thinks about Robert Henderson, about Henry Morrison before him, about all the links in this chain of kindness stretching back through time. "Because someone once helped me when I needed it most." After getting Maria and her son safely to their apartment, Dante drives home through the storm. But instead of feeling exhausted, he feels energized. This is how it works. This is how change happens. One person helping another. One moment of kindness creating ripples that never end. 6 months later, Maria Santos graduated from dental hygienist school with honors. She's working full-time at Dante's shop, which now has 2 locations, and saving money for her own practice. Her son calls Dante Uncle Dante. Every weekend, they have dinner at Dante's mother's house, part of the extended family that grows around acts of genuine kindness. The business card Robert gave him that snowy night still sits framed on Dante's office wall. Below it, a sign that every customer sees. Kindness is an investment that never fails to pay dividends. Because that's the truth Dante learned. Success isn't just about what you achieve, it's about what you make possible for others. The storm that nearly ended Robert Henderson's life started a chain reaction that transformed an entire community. And it's still going. Every day, in small ways and big ones, the cycle continues. That's the real magic of human kindness. It multiplies, it never ends, and it always finds a way forward. So here's what I want you to remember from Dante's story. That night on Route 34, 17 cars passed Robert Henderson before Dante stopped. 17 people saw someone in need and chose to keep driving. But one man, broke, exhausted, risking everything, chose differently. And that choice didn't just save Robert's life. It transformed an entire community, created jobs, built dreams, started a chain reaction of kindness that's still spreading today. You might not be a billionaire like Robert Henderson. You might not have $150,000 to invest in someone's dreams. But you have something more powerful than money. You have the ability to see someone else's humanity when the world looks away. Maybe it's helping a stranded driver. Maybe it's giving someone a chance when others won't. Maybe it's simply believing in someone who stopped believing in themselves. Your moment is coming. The question is, will you be car number 18, or will you be Dante? If this story moved you, smash that like button right now. Share it with someone who needs to remember that good people still exist. And if you want more real-life stories that prove kindness changes everything, hit that subscribe to Black Soul Stories button and ring the notification bell. Let me know in the comments. When has someone's kindness changed your life? Your story might inspire someone else to be the difference, because stories like Dante's prove that kindness isn't just nice to have. It's the force that changes the world, one person at a time.